Hey, what's going on, guys? Oxford King here, and welcome to this Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail graphics update, comparisons, and all that stuff. This was from the FanFest London Fan Festival in 2023, and the devs actually went over some really fun and really cool graphical updates that I thought I want to go ahead and bring into on this channel, because I did watch this already and I really enjoyed it. And I thought this would be a perfect video to get up on the channel. So yes, if you're new here, my name is Oxford King. I'm actually a legacy member in Final Fantasy XIV. I have been playing 14 before Yoshi P showed up, and I've been taking a bit of a break from the game for a hot minute. I'm ready to get back into the game here pretty soon, so I'm catching up on a lot of news and updates, and I thought I'd go ahead and showcase this video here, and I cannot wait to jump in. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that they were showing off here was some facial graphics and animations and stuff. Not really animations, but more graphical enhancements of the faces. And this is what you're seeing now is a before of the Elezen here, of the Elezen model. And then they show the after, and it's very subtle, I get it, but oh my goodness, is it so noticeable, especially when they go back and forth between the two. So check this out. This is the after right here. And then I think they're gonna go to the before. Look at the before here, and there's after again. I mean, look at the geometry level has increased, the shading, the lighting, the shadowing, the texture, everything just looks so, the hair is very detailed. Even like the collar line is very high resolution now. And it just looks really good. I'm super excited about this. And this is just a small taste of what we're gonna be watching. Check this out. This is a really good side-by-side comparison here of the before and after. All right, on the left side, you have before, and then after. On the right side, you have what's gonna be happening. Now, here's a little sneak peek. Right now, they're not showing it, but later in this video, and I hope I can capture it or remember to, but I remember them showing off some lighting where there was sunlight behind the head of I think it was an Elezen model, where you can actually see through the ears, like the sunlight, you know? So they're gonna bring that type of tech into the new update, where it's gonna have that see-through of the, you know, the textures and stuff like that. So that is mind-boggling. It's so awesome. I can't wait. But yeah, again, here's a good shot of the before and after of the models that they're aiming for. And I think there is a message saying, yeah, bottom left corner, you know, development screenshots are subject to change. So some of these things will change. This is not final, but this is a really good shot. Look at the collar line, the clothes, the textures, you know, everything. It just looks so good. Here's another slide that they showed in the presentation where they're showing like subsurface scattering, which if you don't know, and this diagram does a really good job of showing what subsurface scattering is. So the current shader that they're using now is to the left, where the sunlight in today's game will basically bounce off of a 3D object of any kind, and it just simply bounces off and that's it. Whereas subsurface scattering will go actually underneath the texture or the layer or the geometry, and the light will scatter and bounce around and then outward, right? And so that's what I was, discussing earlier on the ear part, where the light can shine through the ear. That's subsurface scattering. And they're also going to be bringing in the scattering where, it'll illuminate like the skin, right? So the outside area will look more lit like, humans do, you know what I'm saying? But if you look at the diagram here, you're going to see within the 3D object, the light is bouncing around. Like I mentioned earlier, like it's scattering and then, leaving the object. So this is actually really big. And I think it's really awesome. So yeah. So here's a before the subsurface scattering is implemented right here. This is like a before screenshot. And then they're going to show an after. And here is the after shot of it. You see what's going on? Like it just looks so, and I know it's subtle, and I know, we're going to be playing the game. We're not going to stop and look at character faces. I mean, I know I will be. It just looks so good. And if you look at the ear and you look at the face right here, all the pores and everything, it just looks like a lot more like natural skin, whereas this is before. Look at this. Look how bumpy it is, the bump mapping. And you see the geometry on the ears, right? And here's an after. You see the difference? There's before and there's after. You see the difference? It's huge. Even the subtle light shadowing on the ears, it looks so good. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think about this sub-scattering stuff? And I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like on 3D objects of the environment as well, not just the character models. Okay, so remember earlier talking about the ear and the light? Check this out. This is so cool, man. There's the before on the left, right? That's today. Now the update, look at his right ear it's our left, but his right. Look at how the light is illuminating right on the tip of your ear like it would an actual, an actual real life. I think this is really awesome. And I really hope that, players will be able to see this in game and really appreciate just how detailed, they're stretching and making this updated graphics engine. It's pretty exciting stuff. And here we go again. This is another shot of the Lalafell. I almost said Taro Taro from FF11. So anyways, look at the difference here. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Look at the difference in the eyes, the hair, the shadowing, the subsurface scattering. You can even see some higher detail on the clothing a little bit. But the biggest thing is look at the neckline. Look at right behind her neckline. Look at the ambient occlusion, the way the ambient occlusion is hitting her hair just so. And the back part of her hair is actually dimmed slightly compared to the left screen, as it should from the light. But a big thing here to notice is look at the eyes and the pupils, the way the sunlight, if you see my mouse cursor, there is a sunlight right here. And they're going to go over that in this presentation, that when the sun moves around in the game world, your eyes are going to represent and show that reflection moving around on your eyes. Again, these little details, not all of us are going to be staring at our faces in the game while we're playing, but I'm sure at some point that we are going to zoom in and take a look because it's new characters. Here's another thing too. Look at the ears. Look at how the ears look on the left before or today, and then look at the ears on the right. There's just more depth and volume. There's more contour. It just looks really good. Yoshi P did say that a lot of the, not a lot, but he said some of the geometry, like polygon count, won't change. So an example of this is if you look at the top of her head here, you'll see like the polygon count looks to be the same as the left side, and the right side, you still see these like sharp curves or, points or vertices, I guess. But the textures of the hair look a lot sharper. Again, bottom left corner, asterisk says, this is all development screenshots. It's subject to change. And, a lot of this stuff is going to be changing by the time this hits next year anyway. And these phased graphic updates are going to be phased. They're going to be in increments. It's not all going to be deployed at once. But yeah, I'm not complaining whatsoever. I think it looks outstanding. I haven't seen anything wrong with any of these updates so far. I've been a huge favor of everything that they're doing here with their work. Okay, here's another really good shot of this right here. Check this out. Okay, you have the original on the left and you have the new on the right. Look at the wrinkles around the eyes. Look at the mouth. Look at the subsurface scattering, the skin. Even look on the forehead. You can see some very little like marks, like line marks on the forehead, but it's very detailed, right? The hair looks amazing. I think it looks outstanding. Again, the collar line, the higher texture models here with the star and the lines here, the cloth materials you can see really well. For me personally, I think it's amazing. And look at the eyes too. I mean, the eyes compared to life, and even like the color of the skin just looks so much more natural. You know what I mean? So I think it's amazing. You can even see some of the updates in the background too. The ambient occlusion is really coming in strong. You can see some really good global illumination. Like if you can follow my mouse cursor, look above his left, the original scene on the left side. Look at how dark it is with the wooden panels by this pillar here. Look how dark it is. If you look to the right side, you can see it's well illuminated, global illumination. And I don't know if they're using some type of a ray traced GI tech within their API. I'm not really sure, but I just love seeing really good, proper GI implemented, especially in an MMO. It just looks outstanding. So it has me really hyped about even like older areas, like, the Realm Reborn zones and then Heaven's Ward. I know Yoshi P said that they're going to be implementing the graphics update from the outward going in. So the outward would be first. So I'm assuming it would be Dawntrail and probably Endwalker, I would assume, right, for the graphics update. And then maybe a Realm Reborn and maybe Heaven's Ward. Not really sure, but Outward End would be that. And so really the last phase graphical update would be what? Stormblood, right? And then Shadowbringers around there would be like the last phased out graphic update. I don't know. Now here's one right here of the Hrothgar. This impressed me. This is their very first time. They even went over this in the audio. They were talking about, we want to really have a nice fur material into the game, a fur shader. And for the very first time in this engine, they finally implemented a fur shader. And on the right side, look at the left side. Look at the right side. You can see, and this is a 1080p video, compresses all get out, and it was a live stream. So imagine seeing this in the game, the clarity, uncompressed, right? That just gets me so hyped. So pay attention right here where the fur is and the way it looks, even around the nose, the eyebrow area, around the eyes, the ears. Another thing too is look at the metals, right? This is another thing that I noticed. If you look at the left side, the before, you can see like that left, like his left shoulder with the metal, right? Now look at the right side. It's got depth. It's got really good shine to it like it should, less pixelation. The resolution is higher. Another note too is look at the left side. You see like the chainmail area. It's very flat, hardly any ambient occlusion, if any at all. But look at the right side. It's got depth to the chains, almost like it's got parallax mapping, or what's another word? Tessellation, parallax mapping or tessellation, one of the two. And then it's got some really good ambient occlusion, especially the way it hits up against that metal. Just a lot more depth. You get what I'm saying? And again, like I mentioned before, the high stitching, high resolution stitching around the collar area. It looks really good. Okay, here they're talking about the eyes, right? And this is what I was talking about earlier in the video. I want you to see, I'm gonna pause the video real quick. This is before, right? This is what we have today, right now in October 2023. This is what we have. And this is the new. If you look at the difference, I mean, obviously everything else is good too, right? But we're focusing on the eyes in this segment of the video. So here's before and here's after. Again, before and then after. And feel free to pause the video if I'm going too fast. But just look at the reflections of the eyes and the way the pupils look. And again, they're going to showcase the sun or the sunlight or even moonlight moving around the pupil area. So again, before and after, it just looks, to me, it looks really good. It's really impressive. And I can't, even the nose, right? The nose looks really good. They did add some geometry, by the way. Look at the ear geometry on the before and the ear geometry to the after. So they did increase the poly count on the ears as well. So looks good. Here's a before and after shot, you know, side by side at least, so you get a better look. So feel free to pause the video to get a good look at these, you know, before and afters. Here's another before and after, and they basically kind of dim the light down and move the sun around. But this is a really good shot. So not only focus on the eyes, but look at the shadowing around the right cheekbone and just basically the shadowing all around. There's even some good ambient occlusion beneath the hairline. It just looks really good and clean. Here's a good shot of the nighttime. So if you notice here, it's kind of like on the left side, it's almost got like baked in lighting on the eyes, right? So no matter what happens, it's always gonna look the same. And here you can see it totally dims out on the pupils and it looks like it's nighttime. It's got me so hyped. I love this, and I'm so glad they showed this off at the London Fan Fest. Another shot here at nighttime. You can see again the eyes. You see his left side of his cheekbone area with the shading, and the right side is lit up. You know, whereas the other, you know, the before is more of a baked lighting kind of a thing. Not really baked, but you know what I mean. The right side's got really good GI. Now check this out. This is big. I'm actually really curious to see and hear your opinions about this. For those that have the ring around the your pupil area, if you chose to do that on your character. Personally, I think the after looks amazing. It looks more realistic, but I'm curious to know from players that chose this option for their eyes, are you upset at all with the realism of your eyes? Do you like the way it looked, the ring on the left, or do you like the new look, or does it really matter to you? But yeah, they showed another showcase here of what your eyes will be looking like. And two, look at the textures of the hair and the horns, right? For the aura, the horns and the scales as well. The scales on her neckline, on her cheek looks really high level. And look at her lips. It's all got great global illumination. I mean, there's so much to go over here. It's all very subtle and smooth. It just looks really, high quality. You know, it makes me excited about seeing the rest of the game, like, you know, the environments of what they can do with that as well. Okay, this segment here, they went over the hair, and here is a before of what's going on today with the hair textures and quality, and here is an after. So it is like night and day difference. I mean, and even the shadowing or the ambient occlusion around the cheekbone area. If you follow my mouse cursor, look right here on her left side. You'll see some very heavy, and it looks great in my opinion. So when I say heavy, I just mean, you know, there's, you know, use of ambient occlusion, not in a bad way in my humble opinion. And her eyes look amazing. The eyelashes are high def and all that. And then her hair looks really, really good. So again, here's a before And then here's an after. Feel free to pause the video. Here's a side-by-side comparison as well, right? This is a really good shot of the before on the left and the new on the right. What they were showing here was the way the light bounces down her hairline. So, and they were showing this model right here, and they're kind of rotating the camera around, and they were basically just saying, yeah, whenever we're making the hair, we want to make sure that it's got the right contour and the light actually bounces like it should, because it's an actual 3D pane. There's individual quadrants of the hair, which is what they're showing off here with the arrows saying, yep, this quadrant does that, this quadrant does this. Now imagine then the artist having to do this with every single character and every asset in the game. It's a large scale upgrade and update to a very, old game now. And so the fact they're going back and redoing everything, it's mind-boggling and extremely impressive. So here's a good look at their lighting tech. They're kind of just moving the light back and forth, showing you how the light is affecting the hair and the facial area. I mean, look at this lighting. This is so, look at her eyes too. It's so good. This is a segment of the presentation about gear, textures, and how it behaves in the world. Before, on the left side, you're going to see how textures behave, how the lighting behaves. And on the right, you're going to see the upgraded visuals. It's just amazing how the clarity, how clear it is, and what they're using here for their shaders as they go down to the bottom right corner and works their way up to the top left. It's going to be amazing. Just imagine everything being shiny, not everything, but you know what I mean, like metals and stuff looking like metal and not like plastic. Here's another shot of the nighttime lighting. As you can see, the left is what we have today, and the right is going to be extra shiny on things that need to be, and then it'll dull down as it goes down to the right corner. So you're going to see a lot more realistic lighting with their implementation of GI and other tech. Here's a good shot at what the metals look like in today's game. So get a good look at that. And then here's the after. Check this out. Look at the difference. Look how shiny things are. And I'm so happy that they made it look like it's been worn, like it's been through something, and not like brand new metal. It looks shiny like it should, but it's not like over shiny where you're having to wear like 5 pairs of sunglasses. Not only that, but look at the use of ambient occlusion under the right arm area, under the chainmail. You guys see what I'm talking about? So if you look in this image here, it's kind of little on the flat side. If you look at each arm area, you see the cape, you see the armor, right, and the chainmail, but there's really no enhanced shadowing of ambient occlusion. Whereas this image, it gets dark in areas that should get dark, and the light is behaving in a way that feels natural with the armor. It's really impressive stuff. And here's a side-by-side comparison of before on the right, inside, outside, and then on the after on the right side, you're going to have inside and then outside. Now, if you notice, this is really cool. If you notice the color of the armor, this is the same armor type. But what I really love about this is the color of the armor is behaving depending on where the player is at. So inside the gold saucer, you're going to have a lot of yellow lit areas. And as such, the metal behaves like what it's seeing, what it's reflecting to. And then outside, you have the same thing, right? Isn't that neat? So you're really going to have different shades of armor depending on where you're at. I think it's awesome. Another thing too to notice is look at the background, right? Look at the gold saucer in particular. If you look, you'll notice how the light emits on the back wall. It's very dark on the before, right? Kind of that, that baked in lighting look. Look on the right, you'll see how the back wall, you can see it, it's visible because of the global illumination and the way the light is bouncing and behaving, you're getting natural light. Even the floor is really dark in the original, slide on the left. On the right, the floor is lit up because of all the light sources bouncing around and behaving. Another thing too, if you look on the bottom, how they're going to be increasing like the grass density and stuff like that. So here we have, I believe this is the Shadowbringers area. I could be wrong. It may be Endwalker area. Regardless, you can see the grass down here. You can see it's a lot higher in density compared to what we have today on the left side. It's very flat, very little grass. So something to call out. Now this right here, I couldn't believe this. I could not believe that this is some texture work. Unbelievable that on the left side is what we have today, the texture work. That is bananas. And then the new stuff, look how more detailed, high resolution, beyond belief compared to what we have before. It's like we're playing Tetris on the left side And then the right side is some new Tetris that's not even out yet. You know what I mean? Quite literally. It's so cool that they brought this up. I just can't believe they've been working with the tools on the left this many years and it still looks good. You know what I mean? Here's a really good before and after side-by-side comparison of, you have before on the left and you have the new stuff on the right. It's crazy how much better it looks. It's amazing. I cannot wait to see what it looks like on our own screens and not on a YouTube video. It's going to look so much better when we get to see this with our own eyes. Let me go ahead and pause it here. This is some texture materials that they're showing off in the game. They're kind of showing off some brass and silvers and brushed metals and the sorts. So here's a good look at the new stuff here. Here they're showing off like cloth, and leathers and other types of materials. This is extremely, extremely impressive to me. I just love this. They're showing off, look at the leather detail on the top row, right? Then you see like this suede material that actually looks like suede. And you have like this cloth. Look how detailed and high resolution this yellow one is, right? I mean, in the reds here, it just looks so good and detailed. Check this out. This is so impressive. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps of how good this looks. Look at the leather. Look at the cloth. Look, oh my God, this is so gorgeous. Look at how this stuff looks. The padding on that shoulder, the ambient occlusion. I'm even so happy about the grass in the background. Look at how dense the grass is. This is big. I am so excited. I cannot wait. Like I said, I cannot wait to see the older expansions get some love, with all the high density, especially the Realm Reborn areas, Heavensward. Can you imagine those areas just be flooded with like the grass area? Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. But I mean, and look at the swords on the back, the way the metals behave and look, the lighting. It's just so good, man. I'm so hyped, not only for the expansion, but I'm really hyped for the graphics update. Like I seriously cannot wait to see this game in full motion with the new pretty graphics. Here they're showing off a piece of tech here or texture work that's like something that's like translucent that you can kind of see through. They're showing this off to kind of give you an idea of what it can look like, and this right here, here's a good shot of this. Here we have the Scholar, and oh my God, is this the Scholar artifact gear or like the Scholar job gear? It looks really good. This looks fantastic. I actually didn't see this last time. Oh my goodness, it looks amazing. Okay, I did not see this. Okay, I must have been in the middle of my editing when I skipped this part. Oh, okay, they're showing the vial on the hip, how you can see through that. It's actually kind of got some magnification to it. Look at the detail on the leathers. Okay, now we're moving on to the creatures. I did see this last time of how detailed this looks. So here's a before shot of the of this creature here, and then look at the after. Wow, look at the difference. It's just crazy. Here's after and here's before. Here's after and then before. You can even notice it's a little hint of like there's like wetness to the skin, like it's almost like they've been in water and they got out of water. You know what I mean? It's so good. Again, before and then after, the shading, the lighting, the pants look good. It just looks amazing. Here's a zoomed in look of before. You can see how it looks from here. Very, a little dull on the flat side, not a lot going on, and boom, there goes the after. Look at the detail. It's so good. Look at the pixelation of the necklace. Okay, that's today. And then look at the new stuff. High resolution. I mean, this is absolutely incredible of the before and after. This is some tech they were showing off, some 3D tools that they're using. I thought I'd go ahead and keep it in the video here so you can see what all they showed in this demo. And by the way, if you want to watch the full presentation, it's on Square Enix. Go to Final Fantasy XIV's YouTube channel. You'll find this live stream. It's right around the 4-hour mark, 4 hour and 18-minute mark in case you want to watch this. But yeah, here's a 3D tool that they're using and some of the geometry that they're working with here. Here's a good shot of they're kind of teasing like, hey, it's got a saddle on it. Can we ride this? But anyways, this is they're showing off the fur materials, the fur tech, the fur shader on this lamb here. And there again, look at the density of the grass. You guys, for those of you that have not played this game before, this is the kind of grass that we don't have yet. Right now, we have we have grass, but it doesn't look like this. This is extremely high, dense grass and looks absolutely beautiful and stunning. And I just can't wait to see the whole game look like this. It's beautiful. And not only will the grass be like this, but the trees as well, higher dense trees. Everything is going to be like, it's going to be scaled up to dialed up to an 11, as we say, right? Here's a shot here of the 3D artists and the environments. They were basically talking about how they were grabbing textures and they were literally using, their phone cameras or whatever, and just taking images and pictures of textures that they saw in the world, like parks and areas with grass and rubble and stone. And they would use this image, they would Photoshop their feet out and then use this texture in the game. So here's another shot here of what I was just talking about. They're basically throwing it into their tool and grabbing a segment of the grass of the image that they took a picture of. And then here's the final result. This is that same texture on a 3D plane that they took a picture of, and you would see this in the game. Here's another shot that of it looking like what it looks like in real time of that same image that he took from his phone being used in the game. Here's another shot too. This is some stone and rubble that the artist found and took a picture of. I think they ended up saying it was a park somewhere in Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. They took an image of this right here and they ended up using this in the game. I believe they used this in the Heaven's Ward expansion in Ishgard, I believe. Yeah, so check this out. This is an image of the stone. Okay, here we go. Here's the actual screenshot and boom, here's what it is in the game. And then he goes on by saying, I added snow in the cracks. Boom, and there's your snow in all the cracks. And if I remember correctly, I think this is an Ishgard. Let me fast forward and see if I'm right. Yeah, this is Ishgard. So for those of you who don't know, this is the second expansion in Final Fantasy XIV Online. So there was a Realm Reborn that was 2.0, and then 3.0 was Heaven's Ward, and that's where that is. This right here, I'm glad they talked about this because I love Final Fantasy XIV skyboxes. I think they got some of the best skyboxes in the business, in my humble opinion. Their clouds always look really good. And here's some images of what they've been working with. They've actually grabbed these cloud images and they're showing just how exactly did they implement the clouds in their game. Here's a couple shots here of the updated lighting that they're going to be using in the graphics update. You can see on the left side, just look at how the light behaves. I mean, look at how dark this area is and then how well lit this is, just like how light behaves in real life. Over here to the right, same thing. You have a spotlight here and all around it is going to be dark. You can still see it, but it's just not as lit. Like, it's using GI. I think it's amazing. These look like dungeons, if I'm not mistaken, and it looks really good. Here was one of my favorite parts of the presentation was the grass. Remember, I keep talking about the grass density in this video. So check this out. A lot of you guys who are watching this may have not played this game before, but some of you guys who are playing the game are going to so appreciate this tech. Here's your before of the grass. Okay, I'm already smiling because I know what's coming up next. Here's the after. It's amazing. Look at this, and this is a realm reborn. This is the first a Realm Reborn 2.0. This is the grass that we're going to be getting right in the Gridania area. I mean, oh my God, it just looks amazing. Did I say Gridania? I meant the Shroud area, but you know what I meant. It's just so awesome. Look at this before and look at after. It just looks like actual grass. It's so good. It's so good. Even in the distance, look in the far distance where my mouse is way back here, right? You go to after and you can even see how dense the grass is in the background where that's not really supposed to happen, and the shadows too look a lot darker and have more depth to it. It looks so good. And the cascading of the shadows are all clear and not pixelated and blurry at the distance. It's beautiful. It's stunning. You know what I'm probably going to end up doing is probably not even playing Dawntrail and just coming straight to the old areas, just hanging out, taking pictures and stuff in the flowers and the grass. Like, yo. Okay, here's a shot of the Aetheryte, or the before. It's kind of like it looks good. Nothing wrong with it, right? Then wait till you see the after. This is the new tech of the Aetherytes. It's shiny. It looks like glass or crystal. The way it spins around, it just looks so good. The way the light is permeating and bouncing off of the textures. I mean, it actually looks like crystal. You know what I mean? I'm really wondering what the crystal tower is going to look like now, you know, with this new tech. Here's a before and after. It's just obviously not in motion, but there's still images. So there's your before on the left and the after on the right. Okay, this right here is awesome. They go over the new fog system. This was really cool. My mouth and my jaw like literally dropped. This is the before. Check out the after. Watch this, how the fog behaves. I'm trying to fast forward. Boom. Unbelievable fog tech right here. Look at this. Look at the before. You can't even see the ship in the background because the fog is simply like it's not really a 2D plane, but it kind of is, right? It's not really permeating through the city like real fog would do. But look at this right here. It's unbelievable what this fog tech is doing. This is what it's like in real life, right? I mean, it just sits just so on the surface level, like fog does, right? I mean, look at the difference. This, and I even think Yoshi P called out in the presentation, like, this is my favorite. I think the interpreter was like, you guys pay attention. This is my favorite part of the tech, and it was the fog. Here's another shot here of the fog tech. This is the new fog. In this zone here, take a look how thick the fog is. Imagine what it's like to be a player character on the level, what that fog would look like down there as well, you know? Here's another shot of the fog, the way the fog is setting on the water, just like it would in real life. It's truly amazing what they're doing with this tech. I mean, they are going all out with this tech. It's beautiful. And this zone here is going to be littered with beautiful flowers and grass. It's going to be the density of that grass and those flowers. I know this zone. It's going to be amazing. Okay, here they're showing off some ambient occlusion. This is before. This is what we have today. Now, and I think they show it before and after, like side by side, but this is before. So if you focus your attention on the very far back where this cathedral is, if it is a cathedral, I don't remember what it's officially called in the game, but you know what I mean. If you look back there, you see the building, right? It looks good, right? Nothing wrong with it. But look at the after. Look at how the shadowing is, right? Here's before and here's after. Again, before, after. So I'm going to go back and forth, and you can see where all the shadowing and the lighting and all that ambient occlusion lighting, how it's behaving now, and the new. It is mind-blowing. And before, they didn't have the tech because shadows, as most of us know, take up a lot of memory. And now they're able to incorporate this shadow tech into the MMO, right? Into this world of theirs. It's truly stunning. Here's some ambient occlusion tech that they're bringing into Final Fantasy XIV. This is before, and here is after. So if you look where the persimmons are, I think this is, and then some barrels of hay, you'll see the ambient occlusion, the extra depth of shadows around all of these objects. And not just here, it's around the bag here, around the table, around that dresser drawer back there, or chess piece, or whatever that is back there. Not a dresser drawer, but you know what I'm saying. There's so much good ambient occlusion going on. Again, here's before, here's after. So when I quickly go back and forth, just your eyes will start adjusting to where the shadows are. And imagine this being everywhere in the game, the updated ambient occlusion. Here they're showing updated textures on the walls in this particular example. And they're also showing off a little bit of the reflection. If you see in the old here, this is before. If you look at where my mouse cursor is, you'll see a slight reflection of the stairs or the steps here on that wall. But mainly look at how blurry these cinder blocks are, right? It's very blurry, right? Now check this out. Watch it. Boom. Look at the difference in the reflection. Look at the high quality textures, right? And then also pay attention to the top right corner of the global illumination. The top right corner, look how this little area here is lit, right? Look at the before. You see how dark it is? Very kind of like baked in lighting, you know what I mean? And then boom, look at how GI is responding to the geometry of the game, how well lit it is. Again, here's a before and here's after. There's a lot to unpack here and soak in. So feel free to pause the video. But yeah, this is your before and after shot. And I think it's really cool that they showed this off. Here's a really good shot of some lighting and updated metals and textures of, ambient occlusion, global illumination. There's a lot going on in this one image here. It just looks really, really good. They're showing off some new images here of Dawntrail expansion. Basically what they're showing here is the updated graphics with the aetheryte here with the crystal, the way it's reflecting, how much stuff is on the screen. There's a lot more going on, a lot more geometry, a lot more objects, lighting, the dense again of the plants, the density. I mean, look at the cacti, the way everything's just lit up, all the textures on the rock and rubble. It just looks more alive, more lived in, a lot more going on compared to what we had in the past, especially for you new folks who have no idea why this is such a big deal. The game today looks fine, looks great, right? But this looks even better. So imagine having a 10 out of 10 game with graphics. It's bumped to an 11, right? It's like really good. Here's another shot here. Again, I can't say this enough. The density of the trees is going to be bumped up. The density of the grass, again, scaled up. So a lot of this dense stuff they couldn't simply do in the past. With this tech, they're able to basically knock their socks off and go, wild and crazy with this new tech that they're updating. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know how your excitement is coming along for Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. We'll see you guys in the next live stream or video. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.